Guys, what are we talking about again? Is he going to talk about the Enneagram again? Yeah, that's the Enneagram. Okay, I'm going to bitch a little bit. I know that's a big surprise. Sunday. Today's Sunday. And I thought I'd make another video about the Enneagram and kind of talk about why I can't stand it. Well, anybody who knows me knows that I love the Enneagram. But often the Enneagram is taught like this. You could just go to whatever and I love this, right? Like this is how people think the Enneagram is. Everybody knows this right here and they go, okay, well you're a 1 and maybe you're a 2 and maybe they like this. And what happens with it, and by the way, this is one of my favorite authors. His name is Richard Rohr, The Enneagram. This is the book that I really, really have gleaned the most from. You could pick this up if you don't want me to come speak to your organization. You don't want to pay me to come speak to your organization. You're just kind of looking for a really, really well written, exhaustive, complete, whatever word you want to put. Richard Rohr is a 1. Now, he's a Catholic priest. I know it's a big surprise. Catholic priest, man, there's no more oneer organization than a Catholic priest. But despite him being a Catholic priest, he's an extremely wise guy. And I can't say enough about how he's blessed me personally on my path, and the fact that I definitely have a spiritual background, and I tend to be I'm one of those guys that say I don't like organized religion. So for me to be advocating Richard Rohr, but he's brilliant. Now this is one reason why I can't stand the Enneagram. This is how the Enneagram is often taught. People think when I'm going to come in and speak to the Enneagram, it's going to be like that. We're going to draw all these weird pentagrams and things like that. And one aspect of the Enneagram, I guess the starting point, is you start identifying where are you. And that's part of the fun of it, if you will. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, I'm a 2. I disintegrate into an 8. I integrate into a 4. I'm a 5. I'm a 6. I'm a 1. I'm a 9. And it kind of becomes, I think Richard Hudson says it kind of becomes a parlor trick. And yes, it's interesting to say, yeah, you're a 7. You're enthusiastic and you're energetic and you're spontaneous. Or you could say whatever. You could look at it from a biblical concept. The cool thing about the Enneagram. Yes, I'm about to get to my bitch in a second. The Enneagram is not taught well. And what I mean by that is it's not taught practically. So here you go. Yes, I want to come speak to your organization. Yes, I want to come speak to your church. Maybe you're going through a church split. Maybe you're an organization. You're trying to just hire better people, and you think, well, maybe it's in 2016, businesses realize like, wait, people have fundamental talents. Maybe we should hire relevant or according to their fundamental talent. Like if somebody really likes horses, maybe you should let them hang out with horses. And it's funny how businesses it's all credentials. And so people sell credentials. And I'm like, yeah, look past the credentials. Look at the Enneagram. I mean, let's look at, let me say it succinctly. You show me a successful CEO and I'll show you the Enneagram. You show me an unsuccessful CEO, and I'll show you the Enneagram. So the Enneagram cuts both ways, and it's wisdom. And I want to teach it. I love it. It's one of those things that I've studied for years. And my background with it is I ran a finance company, and the Enneagram was critical to the success of my finance company because I had to learn that there were 9 personalities and that everybody dealt differently with money. And I know the Enneagram is not really taught relative to business a lot. It's kind of taught relative to spirituality. And I definitely love it there. It's helped me out a lot. Like, for example, if you're getting married or you're thinking you want to get married, and man, I cannot think of a better premarital class than the Enneagram. If you're hiring somebody, you need to know the Enneagram. What I want to do differently, and there's a lot of good teachers out there like Riso Hudson, Richard Rohr. I mean, these guys are brilliant people. The problem that I find with the Enneagram is it's not taught practically. It kind of becomes just another seminar, another thing to, put a number on you, put another label on you. Well, we don't need labels. We need wisdom. We need power. We need wisdom. And even the Bible speaks about wisdom crying out. And the Enneagram is full of wisdom. And so that's why I want to teach it. And a lot of times people don't understand that there's a practical aspect to the Enneagram. For example, it says an introduction to how you can use the powerful system combining ancient wisdom with modern psychology to better understand yourself and others. Now, just look at that paragraph. Who doesn't need that in marriage, in business, potential marriage? Maybe you're trying to hire people. Like, for example, one of the things that you could hire me to do is, like, let's say that you are wanting to hire better people, because we all know that if you hire the wrong person, that could be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. That could be a $100,000 mistake. Bring me in. Let me come speak to your organization. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than $100,000. So I really believe in the practical aspect, and while I love the Enneagram, it's just not taught really well. And yes, we need to get beyond the numbers, and we need to start looking at the dynamics. So what could you expect? Well, if I came and spoke to your organization, we first have to identify, are you a 5 organization? Are you a 6 organization? Are you a 4 organization? Are you an 8 church? Are you like Westboro? I mean, I've been to some churches that are 4s. I've been to some churches that are 3s. So here's the point. We have to, well, let me say that more delicately. I think it's wise to understand the Enneagram. We have to know where we're at. And then the next thing, once we identify where we're at, we need to identify what's our goal. And then we have to look at how does our Enneagramic tendencies move us towards those goals naturally or away from those goals. And that's where it becomes a discussion, hopefully an honest discussion. Because, like, for example, if I were to talk to a 7 organization or a 7 church or a 7 business, I may just bring a documentary in. Maybe your leader is a 7. Well, I'd bring a documentary in of several 7s and go, hey, look at their downfall. Do you want to do the same thing? And also, I would say, look at their success. We need that. So here you go. I love the Enneagram. I've studied it for years. I just don't like the way it's taught. It's not taught practically enough. The Enneagram belongs in schools and churches and families, premarital counselings, HR departments. Wherever you have people, you need the Enneagram. And I'd love to come teach it with you or to you and help and bring it. And you don't need me to get it, but you can always go pick up a book. But what I think makes me unique is that I have studied it for so long. I've ran a finance company with it, and I truly understand that, man, every point is beautiful and every point is terrible. And we have to work with the Enneagram, and that's where we can really have some exciting outcomes. So anyway, I'm Jonathan. You can email me at americano417@gmail.com. Let me give that to you slower. By the way, every time I test, I always test as an 8-7. I have a lot of 7, I have a lot of 8. Whenever I'm around a pure 7, I'm like, no, I'm an 8. And then when I'm, but I would love to come talk to your organization. I'd love to come bring the wisdom of it. And again, it's going to be practical. We're going to watch movies, but we have to first identify where are we. And so that's the thing is, if you were to email me, my first question is, your organization, what number do you think your organization is? And then the next question is, what's your goal? And if your goal is, I want to hire better people, well, that's great. We know what the goal is. Bring me in, hire me, pay me, we're done. And then maybe your organization is a 1. Maybe you're 1 church and you're struggling. Guess what? It's time to make some changes. And one thing that churches do is one thing that organizations do, whether it's churches or businesses, is they tend to bring their own kind in. So for example, if you are a 1 organization or 1 church or 1 business, well, you tend to only want 1s in your business. Ones. And so 1s will hire more 1s, or 1s will hire more 1s, or 6s will hire more 6s, or, and the problem is you got to get rid of this. You got to stop hiring the 6 energy and bring in another energy. If I were to talk to a 6 church, I would really, really say, guys, stop hiring pastors that are 6, 9s, or 3s. Start hiring pastors that speak outside the 6 universe a little bit. Hire a 7, and then be prepared for the conflict. And then if you were an 8 and you were to speak to a 6 organization, I'm like, do you realize that 6s have one word in their psyche? It's safety. They want safety. They want to be safe. And for a 6, safety is it's a visceral need. And 8s are like, what? No, you need to understand that 6s, it's a visceral need. A 6 will pay more for a mortgage just because it's from a, quote, name brand bank. And I used to work with these guys all the time. Like, well, you get a Fannie Mae loan from me, you can get a Fannie Mae loan from Wells Fargo. Which one do you want to pay? You want to pay my fees or you want to pay their fees? So learning how to meet people where they're at is critical. Anyway, I love the Enneagram. The problem is it's not taught, and then when it is taught, it's not taught practically. And that's what I like to help your organization with. Anyway, Jonathan, Americano417@gmail.com. Love to come talk to your organization. Americano417@gmail.com. What's this number? Bang, bang, bang. Figure it out. Let me know. Love to hear from you. Americano417@gmail.com.